Bridget, if you're listening, I am in now. It took a couple of times.
Good morning, everyone. I want to call the November meeting of the Board of Trustees to order. As a reminder, everyone please use a microphone when you're speaking. Trustee Ogletree, will you provide the invocation?
Thank you, President Martin. And President Martin has also tasked me, which I will embrace, with the opportunity to say a few words in memory of Jeannie Lucky. You notice her flowers are here today in a space where she would have been. When you step into something new, it helps to have a group of people to do that with. And it's very beneficial to be able to learn a new process or a new system with someone that's intelligent and works hard and is learning us along beside you to help you figure out how the system works. Well, President Martin and Dr. Steve Cunningham and I had that opportunity, and we're fortunate to have Jeannie Lucky join with us when we joined this board together in May of 2018. And together we learned our responsibilities. We learned how broad of a task we faced, what opportunities we had, and how we could support Mississippi's public universities. Well, 2 weeks ago, we lost Jeannie unexpectedly. Her passing was a great loss to her family, to this board, to her community, and to the very many organizations that she worked with all across this state and this country. As a board member, Jeannie could be a force to be reckoned with. She was going to tell you the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts. She was going to do what she thought was right. We greatly admired those qualities in her. But however, as she told you the truth, she could do it in love, as the Bible would tell you to do, and with the right mix of humor. And so it kept us all moving forward with a positive attitude towards a solution for the issue at hand. Well, Jeannie was not only a treasured member of our board, but she also brought valuable life experience to our work here. Just over a year ago, she pushed for the creation of an ADA Accessibility Services Task Force to ensure students with disabilities had every opportunity at all of our universities and to achieve the most that they could do. And her work along with this task force, along with the perspective and insight she brought to this board, will long be remembered by all of us. So Jeannie has gone from us far too soon, and we will miss her. And may the work that we do in the years to come honor her memory. I'd like you to join me for a moment of silence, and then I will offer an invocation. You'll join me as I pray. Lord, as we approach this Thanksgiving season, we thank you for our many blessings that you've bestowed on us. We realize that every good and perfect gift and all of our blessings come from you. We thank you for life. We thank you for the life of our friend Jeannie Lucky, and we ask that you bestow your grace and peace on her family and friends. We thank you for all those who work in higher education. Help us to always be grateful to them for the help they do for students to find pathways to success in future occupations, to build their character, to live in a fruitful way throughout their lives, and to enrich their communities. Lord, I pray for this board. Give us a vision, Lord, to see what's needed, to see the path in front of us as we take one step at a time, to see the needs that we can help meet, to see the underserved who we can bless, to see truth and justice in every solution. Lord, give us hands to do what's needed. Give our hands strength for difficult times. Help us to acknowledge the power of joining our hands together. Grant us a willingness to use our hands to tackle difficult problems. Give us energy for the work our hands must do. Lord, give us minds to accomplish what is needed. Fill our minds with your wisdom as we make decisions. Keep our minds focused to accomplish the tasks that you lay before us. Lord, give us a heart for our work. Imbue our hearts with joy for the work before us. Make our hearts grateful for those with whom and for whom we serve. Fill our hearts with faith and hope, in love and a passion for higher education, and give us a heart to work humbly in this journey as a board. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Trustee Ogletree. Oh, we have several student government association officers here with us today. Thank y'all for coming and welcome. If you would, please use the microphone and share a little bit with us, please.
Good morning. I am Jemiah Peoples, and I serve as the Student Government Association President at Mississippi Valley State University.
Good morning, everyone. I am Christian Bryant, a senior political science major hailing from the quaint city of Terry, Mississippi, and I humbly serve as the 67th Alcorn State University Student Government Association President.
Good morning. I am Erin Nichols, and I serve as the sophomore class president at Alcorn State University, and I'm from Kansas, Mississippi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Carson McFatridge, and I currently serve as the Student Association President at Mississippi State University.
Morning, everyone. My name is Hunter Yelverton. I serve as the Director of Policy for the Student Association at Mississippi State University.
Good morning. I'm Hayden Kirkhart, and I'm currently serving as the SGA President at Delta State University.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hannah Watts, and I serve as the Associated Student Body President at the University of Mississippi.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Braxton Ruddick, and I'm currently serving as the Student Government Association President for the University of Southern Mississippi.
Thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate you doing this. Has everyone reviewed the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Great. All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Trustee Heidelberg?
Yay.
Thank you, sir. Nice to hear your voice.
Thank you.
Next are the consent agendas. Are there any items that need to be moved to the regular agenda for consideration? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed say nay. Trustee Heidelberg?
Aye.
Thank you so much. Is there a motion to approve item number 3? Let's see. Excuse me. I got my pages mixed up. Little technical error here. Academic Affairs has 3 items on the regular agenda. Dr. Presswood, please provide us with this information.
Thank you, President Martin. The first item on the agenda is request for the establishment of new academic degree programs. Delta State University requests the creation of the Bachelor of Arts in Digital Media to be housed in the College of Business and Aviation, School of Management, Marketing, and Business Administration. This is the third of 4 degree programs that Delta State planned to develop as part of their reorganization. This 120-hour degree program focuses on the interconnected elements of visual, audio, and written media in digital forms. The program addresses workforce needs in video production, social media content generation, web development, podcasting, and short-form digital media. Southern Miss offers a similar degree program in media and entertainment arts. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 6% growth is expected for advertising, promotions, and marketing managers with a median pay of $138,000 per year. According to ZipRecruiter, most of the demand for marketing professionals is for internet and website marketing, search engine marketing, and social media marketing and engagement. Since this degree program will utilize existing resources and faculty, there is no cost for implementation, and the potential new 5-year revenue is estimated to be $105,000. Delta State University requests the creation of the Bachelor of Arts in Humanities and Social Sciences to be housed in the College of Education, Arts and Humanities, School of Arts and Humanities and Social Sciences. This is the fourth of 4 degree programs that Delta State planned to develop as part of their reorganization. This 120-hour degree program is a new interdisciplinary program that allows a student to concentrate in 2 disciplines or areas. The curriculum offers 4 areas of study: English, history, sociology, and African American studies. The curriculum relies overwhelmingly on existing course offerings as well as courses connected to other programs such as the secondary education degree. Mississippi Valley State offers a similar program in integrated social sciences. According to the most recent Bureau of Labor Statistics analysis for graduates in the liberal arts, social sciences, English, and history, roughly 65% of majors work in the following occupational groups: educational instruction and library occupations, legal occupations, management occupations, office and administrative support occupations, business and financial operations occupations. With the English concentration, students will develop skills considered useful for jobs in libraries, publication outlets, and areas with a heavy emphasis on good communication. Students in history will get preparation for similar types of positions as well as those in archives, museums, and public history sites. Likewise, those concentrating in African American studies can use their course of study to enter positions in the cultural heritage arena. The sociology concentration will place an emphasis on community engagement, addressing social problems, and the cultivation of quantitative and qualitative research skills, preparing students to work in governmental agencies, nonprofit organizations, and community development institutions. Given that each major must choose 2 concentrations, all students will come out with a well-rounded set of knowledge, skills, and dispositions necessary for a changing workforce. The program will also prepare students to enter graduate programs in the concentration disciplines, but also in areas such as law, education, and public policy. Since this degree program will utilize existing resources and faculty, there's no cost for implementation, and the potential new 5-year revenue is estimated to be $105,000. Mississippi University for Women requests the creation of the Master of Science in Culinary and Hospitality Education to be housed in the College of Business and Professional Studies Culinary Arts Institute. The culinary and hospitality industry is expected to see significant growth across Mississippi and the U.S. in the coming decade, increasing the need for skilled educators and trainers. With over 200 post-secondary programs nationwide, including 11 community colleges in Mississippi and many organizations offering internal workforce training, there's a demand for professionals equipped to teach and develop industry-relevant curricula. This 42 credit hour program will offer a comprehensive foundation in pedagogy, culinary techniques, and course design, providing faculty and workforce trainers with an appropriate academic credential. Although designed to provide for the development of culinary and hospitality educators in our state, the program should also prove attractive to a national market, given its largely online course offerings and minimal residency requirements. There are no institutions in Mississippi offering similar degree programs. Data from the Mississippi Department of Employment Services indicates that the need for food service, gaming, and lodging managers and supervisors will increase 21.5% between 2020 and 2030. This growth will necessitate an increase in demand for trainers to prepare and develop this growing workforce. The anticipated 5-year cost of implementation is $195,000, and the potential new 5-year revenue is estimated to be $1.3 million. Board staff recommends approval of these items.
Is there a motion to approve item number 1? Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
I appreciate it. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Dr. Presswood, would you please proceed?
The next item on the agenda is a request to establish a new center. The University of Southern Mississippi requests the creation of the Roy Howard Community Journalism Center. This new center will feature professionally guided teams of students under the direction of a center director. The director will routinely consult with a unique coalition of statewide partners to produce important people-centered, issue-oriented enterprise reporting delivered across platforms. The content, including news broadcast packages, longer form documentary, radio wraps, web and print reports, social media, and podcast, will be managed day to day by a managing editor and will be focused on the target of 10 underserved communities and counties in Southeast Mississippi. Simultaneously, the center will feature an innovative media literacy, advocacy, and mis- and disinformation monitoring program that will respond directly to reports circulating in the target area through the What is True hotline. The funding source for this center is a $3 million grant awarded by the Scripps Howard Fund for a period of 3 years with an opportunity for continued funding beyond the 3 years based on performance. Board staff recommends approval of this item.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve item number 2?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Appreciate that. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. And then I think I heard you, Trustee Heidelberg.
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you. Dr. Presswood, please proceed.
The last item on the agenda is the annual academic productivity review. Academic productivity reviews are triggered when cumulative graduates over the past 3 academic years for a single degree program are less than 18 for baccalaureate level degrees, less than 12 for master level degrees, and less than 5 for specialist and doctorate level degrees. 49 academic programs were evaluated to assess need, potential to grow enrollment, productivity potential, and unnecessary duplication. Based on proposals prepared by each institution and subsequent review by the Office of Academic and Student Affairs, the following recommendations are presented for board approval. 4 academic degree programs are recommended to continue with stipulation. These programs are subject to additional review by Academic and Student Affairs for 2 years to assess progress towards future productivity. The first annual report for these academic programs is due on December 1st, 2025. It's the Jackson State Master of Science in Hazardous Materials Management, Mississippi State Bachelor of Science in Culinary Science and Culinology, Mississippi State Doctor of Philosophy in Human Development and Family Sciences, Mississippi State Director of Philosophy in Instructional Systems and Workforce. 2 degrees are being recommended for suspension. These programs will be deleted in October 2027 if the university does not make a recommendation prior to that date to delete or remove from suspension. The Mississippi State Master of Science in Architecture, the Mississippi State Doctor of Philosophy in Counselor Education, Student Counseling, and Guidance Services. 8 degree programs are being recommended for deletion. At Alcorn, the Master of Art in History. At Jackson State, the Master of Science Education in Elementary Education. At MEW, the Bachelor of Science in Accounting. The University of Mississippi is the Master of Education in Literacy Education. At UMMC, the Master of Occupational Therapy in Occupational Therapy. At USM, the Bachelor of Science in Electronics and Computer Engineering Technology. At USM, the Bachelor of Science in Business Administration in Merchandising. And at USM, the Master of Science in History. Board staff recommends approval of this item.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve item number 3? Thank you. Any discussion? Oh, excuse me, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Thank you. This concludes the Academic Affairs regular agenda. Thank you, Dr. Presswood. Trustee Parker, please present the finance regular agenda.
All right, we have 4 contracts on the agenda today from the System Office, Mississippi Valley State University, and University of Mississippi Medical Center. John Pierce will discuss the specifics of each of these items.
Bridget, if you would let the record reflect that Trustee Clark and I will be recusing ourselves from discussing or voting on item number 1 on the finance regular agenda, and we will leave the room now. Please let us know when to return.
Item number 1 is a request from the System Office to purchase workers' compensation excess insurance and employer liability insurance from Safety National Casualty Company. Arthur J. Gallagher is the broker. This policy will provide insurance in excess of the primary self-insured retention of $1 million per occurrence. The estimated premium is $364,000 based upon an annual payroll of $1.7 billion. The System Office issued an RFP in 2023 for the selection of a broker for 3 policy years. This is the first renewal of that policy. The policy can be terminated with 90 days notice. Legal staff has reviewed the proposed agreement for compliance with applicable law and finds it to be acceptable. Board staff recommends approval of item number 1.
You've heard the recommendations from the board staff. I move to approve item 1. Is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed, nay. Trustee Heidelberg,
Aye.
motion carries. Bridget asks Trustee Martin to return the room.
Thank you, sir. Bridget, let the record reflect that Trustee Clark is recusing himself from discussing or voting on items 2 through 4 on the finance agenda, will remain out of the room. Also, Trustee Ogletree is recusing himself from discussing or voting on item number 2 on the finance regular agenda. Bridget will let you know when to return. Dr. Pierce, please proceed.
Item number 2 is a request from the University of Mississippi Medical Center for the purpose of leasing 2 Abbott Architect analyzers to test for sepsis and other infectious blood diseases. The agreement will include service on the equipment and related supplies. The term of the agreement is for 3 years at a cost of $2.2 million. Abbott is an approved vendor with one of UMMC's group purchasing organizations. UMMC may cancel the agreement with 90 days notice. Legal staff has reviewed these agreements for compliance with the applicable law and finds it to be acceptable, and board staff recommends approval of item number 2.
You've heard the recommendations from the board staff. I move to approve item 2.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. All
Aye.
opposed say, all opposed say nay. And then Trustee Heidelberg, I believe I heard you.
Aye.
Bridget, please ask Trustee Ogletree to return. Dr. Pierce, would you please continue?
I suggest we take items 3 and 4 as a group.
Thank you. Item number 3 is a request from Mississippi Valley State University for retroactive approval of a software license and service order form with Aleutian Company LLC. The software is used to provide support services for student forms used in business administration operations. The cost of the contract is for $32,000 for a term of 1 year. Mississippi Valley has contracted with Aleutian since 2015 when the vendor was selected through an RFP process. Item number 4 is a request from the University of Mississippi Medical Center to amend an agreement with Zimmer US for the purchase and consignment of lower extremity total joint components. The purpose of the amendment is to extend the term of the agreement. The amended agreement will add 1.5 years for a total term of 6 years. The total cost of the agreement remains unchanged at $12 million. Legal staff has reviewed these agreements for compliance with applicable law and finds them to be acceptable, and board staff recommends approval of items number 3 and 4.
You've heard the recommendation from the board staff. I move to approve items 3 and 4.
Thank you. Is there a second? Great, thank y'all. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Trustee Heidelberg?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Trustee Parker and Dr. Pierce.
That concludes the finance agenda.
There are 4 items on the real estate regular agenda. Bridget, please let the record reflect that Trustee Clark and Ogletree are recusing themselves from discussing or voting on item 1 on the real estate regular agenda. Trustee Clark remains outside the room. Trustee Ogletree, well, this is moving like musical chairs. Well, Brett, you're letting everybody know when they need to return. Mr. Rowland, please present item number 1.
Thank you, President Martin. Item number 1 on the real estate regular agenda is a request from the University of Mississippi Medical Center for approval to enter into an energy management agreement with Johnson Controls Incorporated for energy management services at the UMMC campuses in Jackson, Grenada, and Holmes County. On December 1st, 2023, UMC entered into a 1-year agreement with Johnson Controls for energy services covering the Jackson, Grenada, and Lexington campuses at a cost of $1.3 million. This agreement will expire at the end of the month. So this is a new energy management agreement for the purposes of providing maintenance services to UMC's medicine system and chillers. Under the agreement, Johnson Controls will provide parts and labor in the event of components failure due to normal wear and tear, preventative maintenance services for chillers, 2 full-time employees to be on site during normal business hours at UMMC's main campus, 1 employee on site at the Grenada campus for 16 hours per month, and 1 employee on site for the Holmes County campus for 16 hours per month. The term of the agreement is for 32 months from December 1st, 2024 through July 31st, 2027. The agreement can be terminated by both parties or by UMC with or without cause. The total estimated cost of the agreement over the 32-month period is $4.4 million. Legal staff has reviewed this item for compliance with applicable law, found it to be acceptable, and board staff recommends approval of this item.
Is there a motion to approve item number 1?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Appreciate that. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Trustee Heidelberg?
Yay.
Thank you, sir. Bridget, please ask Trustees Clark and Ogletree to return to the room. Hard to keep this flock together, isn't it? Ron, will you please proceed?
Yes, Trustee Martin, I recommend that we take items numbers 2 through 4 up as a group, if that's okay with you.
Thank you.
Items 2 through 4 are approvals of final reading of proposed amendments to Board Policy 900. As you'll recall, last month we made some amendments to Board Policy 902, 904, and 903B. Item number 2 is a request for final reading for Board Policy 902, initiation of construction projects that dealt with the thresholds into the various tiers. Some clarification has been added since the first reading. In your board book, you'll see in red the policy for projects that are below the threshold that come to the board. The policy read that it may be approved by the IEOs, and this policy has been amended to say must be approved by the IEO or the CFO as the designation of the IEO. So this is a practice that we already do, but this clarifies this farther in policy to put it in writing that's the process that we work from. Likewise, for our campus here at the Education Research Center, ERC was in the group that said IEO approval, and we've pulled that out to say commissioner approval or the designee of the commissioner for projects that fall under the threshold for the board. Item number 3 is approval for final reading of Board Policy 904A. The only clarification in that policy is dealing with the construction manager advisors and similar service contracts. We provided clarity to excluding commissioning agent services. It already says that to an extent in the sentence below, but just to be clear for policy purposes, commissioning service agent contract services would not come to the board, they would come to staff. And then 903B that deals with the capital funding request that you approved last month. No clarifications were needed in this section. And board staff recommends approval of final reading for items 2 through 4.
Thank you. You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve items 2 through 4? Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Trustee Heidelberg?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. This concludes the real estate regular agenda. Thank you, Mr. Rowland.
Mr. President, before we move on, I would just like to say I talked to one of our tenants. You know, we have tenants in this building other than us, and they were bragging on Brad Rowland as Associate Commissioner for Real Estate Facilities and what a good job he does as a landlord. You don't often hear tenants that are happy with their landlord, but I appreciate his good work.
Well, that's outstanding news. Trustee Ogletree, will you present the legal regular agenda?
Yes, there's 7 items on the regular legal agenda for today. I'm going to call on Harold Pizzetta, who's our Associate Commissioner for Legal Affairs and Risk Management, to present the items to the board.
And Bridget, would you let the record reflect that Trustee Clark's going to get some steps in, and he is recusing himself from discussing or voting on items number 1 on the legal regular agenda. And Trustee Clark, if you'll please leave the room. Bridget will let you know when to return. Mr. Pizzetta, will you please present item number 1?
Thank you, President Martin and Trustee Ogletree. Board Policy 301-0806 requires affiliation agreements to be reviewed and approved by the board at least every 5 years. The board's policy also dictates the material terms which must be contained within affiliation agreements. Item number 1 is a request from the University of Southern Mississippi to approve a second amendment to the affiliation agreement between the University of Southern Mississippi and the University of Southern Mississippi Alumni Association. Section 2.23 of the agreement is amended to reflect that the association's executive director now reports directly to the university president or his designee. The amendment also extends the term of the affiliation agreement through December 31st, 2029. All material other provisions of the agreement remain unchanged. Legal staff have reviewed the agreement and found it to be compliant with applicable law and board policy. Board staff recommend approval of item number 1.
All right. You've heard the recommendation. I make the motion that the board approve item 1.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Trustee Heidelberg?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Bridget, please ask Trustee Clark to return to the room and let the record reflect that Trustee Ogletree is taking his place and is recusing himself from discussing or voting on item number 2 on the legal regular agenda. Trustee Ogletree, if you'll please leave the room, and Bridget will let you know when to return. Mr. Pizzetta, will you please proceed?
Thank you. Item number 2 is a request from the University of Southern Mississippi to approve a second amendment to the affiliation agreement between the University of Southern Mississippi and the University of Southern Mississippi Athletic Foundation. The amendment extends the term of the affiliation agreement through December 31st, 2029. All other material provisions of the agreement remain unchanged. Legal staff have reviewed the agreement and found it to be compliant with applicable law and board policy. Board staff recommend approval of item number 2.
You have heard the recommendation. Is there a motion to approve item number 2?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Trustee Heidelberg?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. Bridget, please ask Trustee Ogletree to return. Mr. Pizzetta, would you please proceed?
Well, Mr. President and Trustee Ogletree, I recommend the board take up items 3 through 7 as a group. Items 3 through 7 are amendment to board policies 10203, 10204, 10205, 10206, and 70301. The amendments are proposed in order to ensure continued compliance with state and federal law and to eliminate redundant provisions. The board has requested to waive the requirement for a first reading of these amendments and to consider these amendments for final adoption in today's meeting. Items number 3 and 4 reflect that policy 10203 entitled Institutions and policy 10204 entitled Institutional Mission Statements are being combined into one policy covering both topics. The combined policy is titled Institutional Mission Statements and numbered as policy 10203. These policies were originally adopted by the board in 2002 and have not been amended since. Item number 5 reflects that policy 10205, titled Planning Principles, is renumbered in light of the combination of policies 102 and 10304 above. No other changes to policy 10205 are proposed. This policy was originally adopted by the board in 2002 and has not been amended since. Item number 6 reflects that policy 10206 is being renumbered, amended, and its title changed to Statement on Higher Education Access and Success. This policy was originally adopted by the board in 2005 and amended in 2013. Item number 7 reflects that policy 70301 regarding the purpose of institutional scholarships, tuition waivers, assistantships, and fellowships is being amended to eliminate redundant provisions and bring its text in line with other board policies. This policy was originally adopted in 1998 and has not been amended since. Board staff recommends approval of items 3 through 7 for final adoption.
You've heard the recommendation. I move that the board waive the requirement for first reading and move directly to final consideration, adopting these amendments to policies 102.03, 102.04, 102.05, 102.06, and 703.01 as presented.
Thank you, Trustee Ogletree. Is there a second? Thank you. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Trustee Heidelberg?
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
President Martin, this concludes the regular meeting.
Thank you, Trustee Ogletree and Mr. Pizzetta. Dr. Rankins, would you please present the administration policy regular agenda?
Thank you, President Martin. Item number 1 is a list of the 2025 meeting dates and location for your consideration. As a general practice, we try to schedule at least 2 board meetings on one of our fine campuses across the system. You will note the June meeting will be held at Delta State, and the November meeting will be held at Mississippi State University. I want to thank Presidents Ennis and Keenum for agreeing to host us during those months. Board approval is requested for this item.
Is there a motion to approve item number 1? Thank you, Hal. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Trustee Heidelberg?
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
President Martin, this concludes the administration policy agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Rankins.
Thank you.
Next is the information agenda, Dr. Rankins.
Are there any questions from items on the information agenda? If not, thank you, President Martin.
Thank you. Are there additional agenda items to be considered? Is there any other business to discuss?
I would just like to mention at your seats, you saw that Bridget left you a form that tells about the National Conference on Trusteeship that will be held March 31st to April 2nd in Chicago of 2025. And I have attended this conference the past 2 years, and I think it is very beneficial for us. So if you are able, I'd like to invite my fellow board members to attend in 25.
Thank you. The next meeting will be January 16th, 2025 at the board office. I hope everyone has a wonderful and safe Thanksgiving holiday next week, and we wish you all the best. Thank you. Is there a motion to close the meeting to determine the need for executive session?
So move.
Is there a second? Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Trustee Heidelberg?
Yay.
Thank you. Anyone not needed for executive session should leave the room or disconnect. Guests are welcome to wait in the lobby. Trustees, please give us a